Hi, my name is Miré.
I am Ellen Marie Hinchcliffe, and I am the Lake Street Arts Curator at Pangea World Theater.
And I am a poet and a writer and a community artist and a community builder and a dreamer and a believer in all that's possible and the parent of a college freshman.
And I am also part of the Milkweed Maps Festival of New Work, and my piece is called Call Me Back.
And the name of my piece is Interstitially Yours.
Every time I make work, I learn something. And I usually learn the same thing, which is that art is extremely vital. It opens up pathways in my own brain, and it makes me connected to a larger sense of what's possible in the world.
It reminds me that there is actually something in here that has some possibility of being useful, and that in many ways, not just to me, I often figure things out by thinking through things, by speaking through things, but I also have some ideas and some capacity to offer something to the world. I have to remember that when it's hard and confusing to just wait, because I actually know more than I realize.
And it takes longer than I ever think it's going to. Every time I make something, I'm like, oh, if I only had another month. But here we are, and I'm ready.
I actually think this might be a piece that it's not going to be clear and simple, but I think this piece is actually more beginning, middle, end than most anything I think I've made in a really long time.
I have done a lot of solo work. Well, I wouldn't say a lot because I don't make that many performances, but I've done the performance that I have done in the past mostly are solo work. In the last 3 years, I have done a lot of collaborative work. I was in Life Born of Fire at Pangea, and I did a beautiful collaboration with Gabrielle Seville at Pangea also, Murmurations. So I kind of have been more in that space, and now I'm sort of back in the solo work. The thing I would say about going forward is that I do really love the collaborative process. I do find solo work to be deeply collaborative.
I do think it has the capacity to affect my process moving forward. I think I would like to be in a little bit more solo performance practice than I've been in a while. It's hard, it's terrifying, it's scary, but it's also an opportunity to sort of stretch.
And when you get into the tech space with the lighting designer and the sound person and the production people, it becomes very collaborative. And you kind of have to humble yourself a little bit because you have to trust them and you have to kind of step into that creative space with them. And so the more I do it, the more I learn how to be in that space and how to be humble and trusting so that everyone in the room is trying to make your work come forward.
Oftentimes I'm creating containers or practices that invite other people in deeply to have their own experience or a community experience. And I think it is powerful for me to actually have to be in the middle of doing the work myself.
I did put out a book called Unruly Spells, a book of poetry, and it came out in August 2025, and now I'm making this performance called Call Me Back in November 2025. The words on the last page of the book are Call Me Back. The book and the show are very interconnected. 15 years ago, after my mother's death, Pangea invited me to create a performance piece, which I made here, called Death's Daughter. And out of Death's Daughter came a book called Fierce Shimmer, which was a book of poems that really started in the performance. So this is kind of the flip of that 15 years later. The book came first this time, and now the performance is really very much inspired by the book. Both of them are dealing with how the image of the witch carried through something about the divine feminine and something about human survival, even though it was meant to be an image that was created that was supposed to scare people and was used to scare people because being accused of being a witch could end your life and cause great, and it's still true to this day, sadly. But at the same time, there is power in that imagery, and there's something that is really alive in that for us at this very, very tender and dangerous moment that we find ourselves in. So to me, poetry and performance are very related to each other. There's a way of using language in both. I feel like there's a way that I write, like I always say that a poem doesn't come alive until you read it. Even if it's just to yourself, it needs, the vibration of it needs to be out in the world. So I feel like they are very connected to each other, and definitely this performance is very, very connected to the book. I'm hauling the book with me wherever I go as I'm making the work, because the two are overlapped so much.
I have come to be in relationship with change, and I actually move with change as constant. I can think of over and over again, as soon as I started to understand whatever stage my son was in, he would change. Like the notion of settling into a thing isn't even how I practice anymore. Oftentimes when I am agitated, and even when I'm not, the basic refrain, more so when things are hard, is that it's okay. Things are going to be completely different in a year. I think in terms of the question of death, I think I've moved just past that middle age moment where people start to go, oh, I'm on the backside of the hill. And I'm trying to navigate with that. It's gonna happen. And I think I'm trying to figure out, are there things that I feel like I need to get done or that I wanna do? I also think I'm trying to remember what it was like before I was here, before I was born, because those are, I want to venture and say something was happening for me, maybe not me in this body, but energetically or as part of the universe before I came here. My notion is that that will be true again at the other part of my life. And so how do I enjoy this phrase, this way of being in the world, but not be terrified? I think I'm good with it in the notion of I know it's going to happen, and I'm just sort of practicing towards I've been in that place before, I will be there again. Now that I understand that that's where I belong and that is actually what I offer to the world, I live there so happily. There is some deep power in looking and connecting not only within a group, but there's something really exciting about this thing is happening here and this thing is happening here, and their perception is they're completely unrelated and they're just on these tracks. But being in between allows me to be like, do you know that this is happening over here? And that actually what's going on over here is really helpful and fulfilling and could help your life be fuller, and vice versa. That is a piece of life that really brings me great joy. The being in the in-between, now that I have a true appreciation for what it is and can understand it, is a deep joy, deep joy.